inclined to reconsider this, Mr. Manager, but after that statement, I'm much less inclined to do it because my concern is I don't mind that I don't vote on this today, but I don't want to see the process stop. I don't mind that this gets voted down. I happen to believe that this city does not need to be entirely non-concurrent, if that makes any sense. In other words, we should not be exempt on a citywide basis. I happen to believe that. Let me finish. I won the vote. I get to say something. What I want to know is, if this commission were to, let's say, reconsider this and then vote and direct you to do something, I want to make sure that there's no impediment for you to do that. And that's what I'm asking you. Are there any impediments for you to turn around and take whatever data you need, create whatever report you need, whether it's a white paper or whatever, create whatever data stream is necessary, put that before the Planning Advisory Board, let it get vetted publicly, and let it go in as a text amendment?
Commissioner, is something that yes, that we can do. The only thing is that I couldn't, for example, abide to the 6 months because I don't know what type of an impact it may have, whether it's 6 months or whether it's a year, because there is a lot of impact that resonates throughout the whole comp plan. Doable? Yes, you can do it. You can collect the data, but it may take about a year, not 6 months.
Could I add,
Sure.
Commissioner? As one of the recommendations that was made by the PAB, it's to study the whole city as an urban infill. So we're doing that. I believe we also have been given a time limit. In addition to that,
it's 2 years in your study.
and perhaps it's looking at it at that date, but we are looking. It was a recommendation, and we're doing it. The other thing that I would submit to you is that you, on the last City Commission, you gave us the go-ahead to proceed with Miami 21. There is a time given to us by this Commission. You want it back in December. That means we need to be at the PAB in October. If PAB approves it and it comes to you and you approve it, I need to send it to DCA. There might be land use changes. I think it would be as a result of what we are going to do with the mapping of the other quadrants that perhaps at that point it would be a good opportunity that if it makes sense on those land use changes to make it at the time when it's going to DCA. Like I said, you gave us the go-ahead last City Commission. You have given us a time frame where we need to be back to you in December. As we presented it, October is PAB, and then it's back to you at the end of October. And then we need to submit to DCA. So it might be, if the concern is where are the densities and where is the height and where are we doing, that would be the opportunity to go through it.
Well, if I'm going to interpret what you're telling me is that you're going to be going through the same studies to begin with, and those studies could be incorporated into the MNU version of this issue. So it seems to me you would be working toward that goal anyways. It would seem to me that most of the finances that we provided for Miami 21 would help facilitate this land use change. So if what you're telling me is you can likely have this done by October or November, then there's your 6 months, and this can go in as a text. It can at least be brought to the PAB, where the PAB can vet this issue, and then it can come back to either this commission or wherever the proper procedure is as a text amendment. But if I can't get that commitment, I cannot make a motion.
Commissioner, it would be difficult for me to say that it's 6 months. I think that I would stick to the year because I believe that DCA only allows the text amendments like October and April. I think are the periods. And I don't think that we're going to be ready to do it within the 6 month period. And there is no assurance at this point today as to how much resonance this change has throughout the whole comp plan, and I would feel safer if we attach a 1 year commitment rather than 6 months.
Can I ask you a question, Anna?
Vice Chair.
I'm sorry.
You're recognized.
When I'm looking at the item that you're proposing, right, that the city has proposed, and right now we're getting a recommendation from the city attorney, the city manager, and the planning department on this issue. When I compare to what is being proffered by Commissioner Sarnoff compared to what's being proffered by us here, I'm seeing preserving residential sections within neighborhoods. I'm seeing that in our version, but I'm seeing in the MNU version preserving lower density traditional neighborhoods. So that's what they're actually proffering. That's really kind of what the difference is between what Sarnoff is proffering and what you are proffering. What would you say is the difference between preserving residential sections compared to what they're asking, preserving lower density traditional neighborhoods, when we don't have, I mean, that's not really a terminology that we use. What would you say is the difference? It's still preserving residential sections within a neighborhood.
If I could answer,
Sure.
I think the residential, I would read it, and I can't speak for MNU because I don't know what the lower density traditional neighborhoods is, but I would say that the original language, residential sections within the neighborhoods, I think it is perhaps broader on the one hand because we're talking, again, I don't know what lower density is, but you would be talking about duplex, single family. I think the residential sections is perhaps more inclusive,
Yeah.
but that's only from my perspective.
Yeah, and that's what I'm looking at when I look at the language, because I do understand what MNU is trying to accomplish, and that is to make sure that we protect our neighborhoods, that we don't want to see overdevelopment happen in those neighborhoods. From what I'm seeing, what is being proposed by staff, recommended by staff and by the city attorney, is basically the same thing. The only difference is that there is a different terminology that is being used by MNU, correct?
There's a different, like Rob Curtis just said, it's a different terminology, but it's not as simple as just saying it's a different name. It's what are the implications of that. Residential is broader, it's what we have reviewed, it was what has been going through the public process, is what we're recommending.
Okay, and this
That's-
is what PAB is also recommending too?
The language that you have in front is PAB. Again, I don't have the MNU document. What Rob just read is the MNU, and that's why we're cautioning you. We are not recommending that for the reasons that have been stated. Again, it is the purpose, and it's throughout the comprehensive plan, and where you have the document about the preservation of neighborhoods. It's about the buffering. All I would like to say is the document that you have in front, it has gone through a public process. There's some differences, ones that we're recommending. You have given us a time frame to come back to you with the zoning code, with the land development regulations, and at that moment is where we can start mapping and being able to address the lower and the higher density neighborhoods.
All right. I think, yes.
I was going to make a motion.
What's your motion?
My motion would be to instruct the city manager.
There's already a motion on the floor. No, we voted on
No,
that
I voted.
motion. Well, are you moving? Okay, go ahead.
No,
with the
no,
motion.
Well, I may make another motion if this one gets granted, but
Well, before you make a motion, I continue to have problems with this. Under Mason's rule, anyone can make a motion to reconsider. Before you're making a motion, correct me if I'm wrong, Madam Attorney, I continue to have a big problem with this, with the recommendations that I proffered before. So I am going to pass the gavel and make a motion to reconsider the motion which was passed under LU 111. Motion to reconsider. We need a second.
Before you say,
I'll second, but
Okay. You're the chair.
what do you try to reconsider?
I'm reconsidering the motion that
This
was
motion-
passed by Commissioner Sarnoff on LU 111.
I have a motion, I have a second. All in favor?
Well, roll call, because you're the tiebreaker.
well, wait.
Okay, but let me just say this, because I'm the chair right now, right? Okay. You made your motion, you made your second, but Commissioner
Discussion.
Sarnoff has, I was just going to
I'm gonna-
say that.
I'm gonna-
I was just going to say that.
All right,
You-
and I was going to ask, under Mason's rules, to ask you to table that motion for a moment so I can make a motion right now. And that motion would be to instruct the city manager to start the mapping and the necessary background data for the MNU changes to be presented by October.
So what does that do with the first motion that you passed? Are you reconsidering
His
that?
motion is still alive. I'll table my motion.
Okay, you table?
I'm gonna allow him, because then my motion is gonna stand, and I'm gonna do everything he's put forth. I'm gonna try to do away with.
I'll second that motion. And
Oh,
for discussion, Madam Chair.
Yes, yes. You
Okay.
recognize Commissioner Regalado.
Okay. What he's trying to do is that what we approved a few minutes ago will not be included today in this document, but what we approved will be the guiding issues that the manager will have to work, not today, but until next October of 2008.
All right, but I believe that in order to